So starting with those alternating front and lateral dumbbell raises. So lifting out to the side, then out front. And remember, you only have to go to your shoulder height here. And let's do 2 more together. Good job. Now we're going to transition into those dumbbell punches. So holding those dumbbells at our shoulders, and we're punching out in front of us. And remember, you can punch straight out in front of you, like so, or you can go crossbody. And while you're doing this, I want you to really think about engaging those core muscles. So a good cue for that is, what would you do if I punched you in the stomach? You're going to brace down. So that's what I want you to think about as you do these punches. Good job. Let's do 4 punches. Good job. Now we're going to transition into those Arnold presses. So you guys stay standing up with your feet under your hips. You're going to start with your dumbbells at your shoulders. Your palms are facing yourself. Then from there, we're pushing up, opening our hands 180 degrees. So at the top, our palms are facing outwards. And then reversing that movement on the way down. So just moving through those 2 movements here. Making sure to move nice and slow and controlled. And let's do 3 more together. And 1 more. Good job. Now our next movement is going to be those crossbody wood choppers. So grabbing one of our dumbbells, starting at one of our shoulders, we're going to take that dumbbell to our opposite hip joint as if we're chopping a piece of wood. And so remember, with this movement too, I want you to think about really bracing down in your core, trying to use those core muscles. And let's do 2 more. Good job. Now we're going to move into those flutter kicks. So again, you can either do this seated in a chair or seated down on the floor. Seated in a chair would probably be the best option for most people. And then from there, we're going to do some flutter kicks. So legs are fully extended. We're going to lift our legs so that they're in the air, and we're going to kick. So again, with this one, really trying to engage our core muscles here. And let's do 5 more seconds. Good job. Then from our flutter kicks, our options are either to do a clam shell or a standing leg abduction. So clam shells are down on the floor. We're laying on our one side, and from there, we have a bend in our knee, and we're lifting that top leg open, making sure to keep our hips forward. If you're not comfortable with doing those clamshells, then you can do some standing leg abduction. So holding onto something for support, and then just lifting that leg out to the side. And so we're going to do about 12 on each side and then switch sides. And so switch sides if you haven't already. And good job. Now we're going to move into those lunges. So I'll give everybody a second to come back up off the floor if you were doing those clamshells. So lunges again, feet are directly under our hips like we're on a train track. Then from there, we're taking a big step back with one of our feet, trying to bring that knee as close to the floor or to the floor if we're able to, and then stepping back up to meet our other foot at the top. And so remember, when you're coming to step back up to meet your other foot, I want you to think about pushing through your heels in this one. So instead of pushing with your back toes, I want you to think about pushing through your heels as that back foot comes to meet its front foot. And let's do 4 more together. Good job. And now our last movement of our strength portion is going to be that goblet squat. So similar to a regular squat, but now we're introducing some weight by holding it vertically at our chest. So feet are directly under, are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Toes are pointed outwards. We're squatting down, making sure our knees go over our toes, and we're keeping that weight at our chest. And let's do 3 more together. And 1 more. Good job. So that concludes our strength portion of today's class. So now we're going to get ready to do our Tabata. And we're going to start with our high knees in 3, 2, 1, and start. I'm just turning up my volume to make sure that you guys can hear that. So high knees or marching on the spot, whatever works best for you guys. This is looking very glary on the screen. There we go. So high knees, lifting those knees as high as we can into the air, making sure to keep good balance on the one foot that we're balancing on. Good job. Now after our high knees, we're going to get into those air squats. So feet are a bit wider than shoulder width apart, toes are pointed outwards. And we're squatting down, making sure our knees go over our toes. And remember, if you're not comfortable with air squats, you can always do sit to stands instead. So sit to stands are when you have a chair under you and you're sitting onto that chair. Once you feel your bum on your chair, you're going to stand back up again. Good job. Now we have a little rest before we get into our running on the spot again. And so running on the spot for this 45 seconds here. I'm gonna try to move this up so you guys can actually see. But then you can't see the clock. So you got 20 seconds left, so try to speed it up if you can. Ten seconds left. Good job. Now, after our run in the spot, we're gonna grab our dumbbells and get into those bicep curls to a shoulder press. So starting with those dumbbells at our hips, we're lifting them up onto our shoulders by bending at the elbows and then pushing overhead. And then reversing that movement on the way down. Good job. And remember, trying to keep our shoulders nice and relaxed here. So we don't want our shoulders up at our ears. We want them nice and down and relaxed. Good job. Now we're going to set our dumbbells to the side because our next movement is going to be those hamstring curls. So holding on to something for support here. And we're going to get into those standing hamstring curls. So flexing at the knee, trying to really engage these hamstrings at the back of our thighs. And switching sides here now. So working our other leg. Good job. Now our next movement is going to be that alternating knee to elbow. So standing upright, feet are under our hips. And we're taking our opposite elbow to our opposite knee by crunching down at the core here. Good job. 5 seconds left here. Good work. Now our next movement, we're going to need our dumbbells because we're going to do those upright rows. So standing upright, feet are under our hips again. Dumbbells are at our hips and we're pulling those dumbbells up to our collarbone, making sure to lead with our elbows. So remember, we're not pulling with our wrists like a T-Rex. We're pulling from our elbows. Trying to keep those dumbbells nice and close to our body as we pull them upwards. Good job. Now we're going to place one dumbbell to the side. And with one dumbbell in hand, we're going to do those standing side bends. So leaning towards that hand with a dumbbell in it and pulling up and through, making sure to bend in one straight line. We don't want to bend forward or backwards. We want to pretend that our body is in between two planes of glass. Good job. Now we're going to switch hands. So placing that dumbbell in our other hand and bending towards that hand with the dumbbell in it. Good job. Now we're going to take a 1-minute rest before we move through that again. So making sure to take a drink of water here as we rest. Take a minute to catch your breath. And we've got 20 seconds before we go through that again. And remember, we're starting back up at the top in 5 seconds, starting with those high knees. And starting with those high knees again. Good job. Now we're going to get ready to do those air squats again. So feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Toes are pointed outwards. And we're sitting down, making sure our knees go over our toes, trying to keep our chest up nice and tall here. And remember, you can always do sit to stands as an alternative. Good job. Now taking a 10-second rest before we move into that running on the spot again. And we're running on a squat here. So trying to make sure that our arms are getting involved as well here. We're over halfway through, so try to speed it up a little bit if we can. Good job. Now we're going to grab our dumbbells to do those bicep curls to a shoulder press. So taking those dumbbells from our hips, bending at the elbows to bring them up onto our shoulders, and then pressing overhead, and just reversing that movement on the way down. And so remember, we don't want our shoulders up at our ears. We want them nice and down and relaxed as we move through this, nice and slow and controlled. Good job. Now we're going to put our dumbbells to the side again and prepare to do our hamstring curls. So remember to hold on to something for support here if you need. And we're just bending at one of our knees, trying to take that heel as close to our bum as we can, really trying to contract these big hamstring muscles at the back of our thighs. And now switching sides. Good job. And then our next movement is going to be our alternating knee to elbow. So starting in 3 seconds and bringing that opposite elbow to our opposite knee here. Good job. Now grabbing our dumbbells from the side. And we're getting ready to do those upright rows. So pulling those dumbbells up to our collarbone, making sure to lead with our elbows here. And remember with this one too, we don't want our shoulders up at our ears. We want them nice and down and relaxed. Good job. Now placing one of our dumbbells to the side. And we're gonna get ready to do our side bends. So leaning towards that dumbbell in our one hand, then pulling up and through. And remember, we're pretending that our body is in between two planes of glass, so we don't want to lean forward or backwards. We're leaning directly to the side. Good job. And now we're going to switch sides. So take that dumbbell in our other hand and lean towards that other side here. Good job. And that concludes our conditioning workout.